With the 14th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Taliese Fuaga, tackle, Oregon State.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, for me, he was right behind Joe Alt. I just loved watching him and the temperament and the physicality with which he plays as you see him getting a little emotional there. Powerful and nasty, and usually when you have those first two things, you'll see guys are on the ground a bunch. He stays off the ground. He's got excellent balance. Played right tackle there at Oregon State, a very physical program, and he was a poster child. He got penalties, which I was trying to figure out why there were penalties. I think they just looked so mean that they decided to throw a flag on him.
Is that like Michael Orr? He just blocked it too long?
That's not fair. Here he is. Watch him just finish guys, then gives you a little extra there at the bottom once he gets you on the ground. Competed at the Senior Bowl. Could have sat that out, just waited and gone through the rest of the draft process. Instead, he shows up down there in Mobile, Alabama, goes against some of the top rushers and is outstanding. Here he is against Latu from UCLA, one of the top pass rushers in this draft, and he puts him on the ground. He aced every test through the whole process. I'd give him straight A's from start to finish.
Do you see him flipping from right to left? Because we just saw the Senior Bowl tape taking those shots at right. I've mentioned Penning, who's been a disappointment for them at left tackle. Do you see Fuaga going left, or do you see him staying on the right side?
With the potential of them needing two, I'd just leave him at the right side where he's comfortable and where he's played.
I just love seeing a guy develop. I mean, think about it. He went to a dreadful high school program. They won 5 games in 4 years. 5. That's it. So he was only the 130th ranked offensive tackle in his recruiting class. And now here he is as a first-round draft pick. Tough guy. Jonathan Smith, his head coach, talked about his work ethic, his toughness, and a tone setter for that offense.
Yeah, Smith is now here in this stage for Michigan State.
And, well, Lance, you had it spot on there. 14th overall player goes with the 14th overall pick.
And he is tough. He's aggressive. He's big. He is incredibly technically sound. The thing that stands out to me is he can push you around in the run game, no question. And you're going to see a lot of it. The backside cutoff, they did a lot of outside zone stuff. So he's well versed in terms of finding his landmarks as a run blocker. And that's a lot of what you're seeing right here is getting out to the second level, getting your cutoff blocks. But what makes him special to me is the quick hands. The punch is direct. He plays with inside hands. The pass set, he always has his chin tucked. He's got the ability to play off of those spin moves, and that's because he's well balanced. There's not a bunch of lean. What struck me when I watched him was, man, this guy, this is coaching tape. Like, this is teaching tape right here from a pass pro standpoint, because his technique is just outstanding. So when he gets into the league, he's not going to have those issues like Trevor Penning had, where he had to kind of feel his way moving up from the SDS level and trying to figure it out. He still hasn't figured it out. Yeah. Fuaga's already got it figured out, in my opinion.
Yeah, he does get it figured out. And I'll say this, having watched the New Orleans Saints up close, they needed some toughness. They needed some physicality. This is a team that maybe is a little on the softer side. He adds some of that nastiness that they needed. So this is a nice pick for them. They need to get back to running the football and being able to do some of those things to protect Derek Carr, but more importantly, to impose their will on their opponent.
You know, I also look at this and love the celebration there for Taliese Fuaga. And, you know, this is an interesting one. You know, Ryan Ramczyk, as Dennis Allen came out at the annual league meeting, said, hey, look, we're a little concerned here, not where he wants to be in terms of potential for return from the rehab and the injury that he faced this year. As you mentioned, Penning, jury's still out there. Also, James Hurst retired this week. They're starting left guard. And this is a player in Fuaga who could also make a transition interior, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But, you want Trevor Penning to figure it out.
Sure, take the reins, be the guy.
Yeah, absolutely, because, you know, if you can start a guy, Laramie Tunsil, you know, he started at left guard in Miami and became that left tackle. I think that what he's going to give you an opportunity to do right away is he gives you that guard tackle flexibility. You just want players who can play right away if you can find them.
The Green Bay Packers have traded the 41st pick to the New Orleans Saints, and with the 41st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kool-Aid McKinstry, DB, Alabama.
Well, it looks like Mardi Gras got a new drink. They're going to mix some Kool-Aid in there, and McKinstry is taking his game to the bayou.
Yeah, he's a very smooth, efficient mover. There are times where you see this. He'll keep his hands a little bit low. I think once he gets his hands on people, you're going to see even a better player because his mirror and match skills are excellent. There's no panic down the field. Patient, then is able to turn, look, locate the football down the field. Working downhill, he is tough. He will put his face in the fan and make tackles. You see it again here in run support. They're going to love this in New Orleans. He's got a lot of want to with the way he plays the game. There were some rough moments in that Texas game against those high-flying wide receivers early in the season, but his complete body of work, I thought, warranted first-round consideration. I believe they got a first-round caliber player here at pick number 41.
Came in as the number one corner in the recruiting cycle in 2021 and got on the field right away in a Nick Saban secondary. Started 6 games as a true freshman. You touched on it being so technically sound, but also this guy is very athletic. Could have played basketball at Alabama. Talked to Nate Oates, their basketball coach, about actually playing both sports for the Tide before settling on football. But this is a guy that did not get a pass interference call last year in 2023. Think about that. In that league, those aggressive offenses, those quality wide receivers, and he was able to go through the whole season with no pass interference.
And don't forget this about him too. When you talk about playing with Kool-Aid McKinstry and being able to be opposite Terry and Arnold and not have the jealousy when Arnold passed him up as being that guy, just comes and goes to work. Have found the foot fracture on him at the combine, but he gets a chance now to go to New Orleans and do his thing.
Okay, here it is. Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback we thought could go in the first, ends up going at 41 to the Green Bay Packers.
He's got good size. He's got pretty good speed. I think what you really love about him is he can play multiple coverages. So if you want him up under your chin, and that's Alabama football, he's going to be able to play whatever coverages you need. I think the thing that separates him and Terry and Arnold is he's not always as good at playing the football. He'll play receiver a little bit more than football, and sometimes he doesn't always trust his eyes to fire off and trigger on some of the throws. But he's a tough tackler, and for me, I think that he is going to be steady Eddie throughout the game. I think he's somebody who's not going to get you beat. I don't know that he's going to make a ton of plays on the ball or have a bunch of interception numbers and production, but I think he's going to be solid out there for most reps.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Mickey Loomis was asked at his pre-draft press conference if there was still some consideration to trading Marshawn Lattimore, a relationship that seems to be a little strained after a phenomenal start to his career. On Kool-Aid McKinstry, though, let's get a player comparison now, Bucky Brooks, presented by Pizza Hut.
Well, I like Pizza Hut, and so I think everyone's going to like this comparison. Joey Porter Jr. I think it's ironic Joey Porter Jr. was a second-round pick, but a lot of similarities. The length, the ability to play with toughness and tenacity at the point of attack. A guy that's more comfortable in bump and run than he is in off coverage. And Joey Porter Jr. played outstanding for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a rookie. Came right in, settled in after kind of slowly working his way into the lineup the first handful of weeks, but got into the mix and became their number one corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry could take a similar path when he goes to New Orleans. Very solid and dependable, reliable, well-schooled, well-taught by Nick Saban down in Alabama.
Big time picks here for the Saints that fill some massive needs. Taliese Fuaga at number 14 overall in the first round, the tackle from Oregon State, and now a cornerback to go along with guys that they have drafted recently, Paulson Adebo, and the Cookie Monster from Tennessee, Alontae Taylor. There it is.
With the 150th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Spencer Rattler, quarterback, South Carolina.
All right, it's time for Best Value presented by Verizon. I actually didn't know. You just start thinking because we were going through the
board.
Like,
it was
hey,
smart though.
Who are some of these teams that could be in play here? And once again, on day one, the Saints already have a quarterback, but hey, why not add a little depth here? They couldn't move up to grab Michael Penix, and in round number 5, they get the next guy available in Spencer Rattler.
So Spencer Rattler, he plays faster than, he ran a 4.9 5.40, but when you watch him on tape, he's got the ability to move around and create, as you see right here. When pressure comes up the A-gap, he can move around. He's not going to run away from a lot of people, but he is a play extender, which is very important. This is a player who's gone through a lot of adversity. So he, was a 5-star prospect. There were some people that didn't. They have this quarterback series on Netflix, and I think he came off as a little bit immature and turned some people off. He then thought he was going to be the guy at Oklahoma, lost his spot there at Oklahoma, transferred to South Carolina. In South Carolina, the play at times could be a little up and down, and frankly, I didn't think the production was great. But Spencer Rattler has physical capabilities. Make no mistake about it. I think this is the right round for him. I know he had gotten hot with some people, and second round or third round, but really the tape said fifth round. He's not as productive as he needs to be. But when you watch him throw the ball, the arm slots, the arm angles, the way the ball comes out, he's got that in spades. That's not a problem for him. I think managing games is going to help, but also getting with the team that offers him an opportunity to have a few more weapons.
With the 170th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Bub Means, wide receiver, Pittsburgh. Who dat?
It's a tough name with a tough game. Bub Means, at 6'1", 212 pounds, runs in the low 4.4s. He's made for West Coast offenses, so if you want to throw the ball to him on the run, he can expand he can expand the catch and the run after catch and add yards to it. Most importantly, he's really tough when the ball goes up. I think this is a sneaky good pick here in the 5th round because height, weight, speed in the 5th is a nice get.
Perfect height, weight, and speed. The only thing that kind of flags for me on this one is when he has to change directions, the speed erodes more than most. So yeah. it's not like sheer speed all the time. What differentiates him is when you're changing directions, like you have to do on certain routes, he doesn't have the full speed on all of the routes in the route tree.
Yeah,
God,
good point.
Great pick, though.
Yeah, if I'm a Saints fan, I'm kind of happy right now.
Yeah, you're really happy.
With the 175th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jaylan Ford, linebacker, Texas.
Number 5, knocking on the door of the 6th round of the draft. The Saints just a few moments ago. How about Jaylan Ford?
University of Texas linebacker Jaylan Ford goes here, and good spot for him. I think you're going to see him immediately play special teams. He is willing to jump in there and do the dirty work, spill the runs wide, and that's not sexy to go on and take on a block knowing that you're the one who's trying to muddy it up in the middle and make running backs bounce out. That's a team element, but he's a team player, which is one of the things I really like. I thought he really improved his pad level and technique as a tackle finisher in 2023. Many fewer missed tackles in 2023, and that's what you're looking for. You want guys to improve on weaknesses from year to year. He showed some of those improvements. I think the instincts are very average. The field awareness needs to get better, but with Jaylan Ford, steps into a role as a special teams player and a backup linebacker pretty quickly for the Saints.
Now with the 199th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Khristian Boyd, defensive tackle, Northern Iowa.
Bucky, you had eyes on him at East West Shrine.
Yeah, this is not a surprise to see him get drafted. When you watch him at the East West Shrine game, mountain of a man. But not only is he a mountain of a man, but he had really powerful hand skills. The thing that stands out about Khristian Boyd at Northern Iowa when you watched him, just the production. 10.5 sacks in his career, 22.5 tackles for loss. For a rugged interior player, that production is on point. When you had a chance to watch him practice, plays with good effort, good energy, has the length and physicality that you want, is finding a role and trying to be able to carve out something. When you look at the Saints defensive front, they have a need. They have a need for someone that is kind of a stout player at the point of attack. Khristian Boyd can fill that void.
He got hot during the process too. He didn't go to the combine, was not a combine invite. Teams all were having meetings. Coaches were like, you can always tell too, he hit a lot of top 30 visits. And the coaches were saying, hey, where do we have this guy? Where do we have this guy? Why wasn't he at the combine? How was he not at the combine? Let's get him in. Let's get him in. Let's get him in. So he was a player, and Bucky saw him at East West. I didn't go to East West. I went to Senior Bowl. But on tape, looked like a good player. Thought he was about a 5th-round pick. I wondered if he might even get hotter than that with all the top 30 visits. But ultimately falls in the 6th, but that's okay. If you look at the roster of the Saints, he's got a chance to get in there and get some playing time pretty quickly.
With the 239th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Josiah, Ezirim, tackle, Eastern Kentucky.